So just feel this idea for a second. It all makes sense. Feel the idea, it all makes sense. It's perfectly designed. The more fundamental you go, the more back towards the place of creation or towards 0 point, the more beautiful the design, the more elegant, and the more it makes sense. Or the bigger you go. It all makes sense. Of course, ahas. You get ahas on the way back towards merging and awakening. You get ahas. You get Buddha laughter zones. I just want to show off the beautiful bougainvillea. You get Buddha laughter zones. Buddha finally gets the big kahuna and spends 3 days laughing under the tree. It's like, oh my God, it's so simple. So just let that idea percolate into your spinal column. It all makes sense. It gets easier and easier, better and better. The universe is conspiring literally to wake you up with all your difficulties, with all your hopeless impasses, with your dead ends, with, all of it. And with the bliss, with the love, with the smoothness, with the elegance, which means effectively done and beautifully done at the same time. Leave it to the French to come up with elegant words. I'm still weak from my ordeal purging, but it's working for me. I lost like 23 pounds in a week. How do you do that when you're not that fat to begin with? Something's going on. So the little topic I was going to do, just a few minutes here, and the quality of these Facebook videos is really not that good, so I'm trying to figure out a better way to do it. When we have things in us, let's call them things. Now you can call them psychological patterns, you can call them subconscious patterns, unconscious samsaras, demons, entities. And this has a huge scale of gradation on it. Full-on entities that are not you. Now, with doing ayahuasca, we encounter that. Exorcisms is basically what ayahuasca is, when they're not your entities. And when they are yours, then you're doing transmutation, you're doing alchemy, you're doing healing. You've put them into your subconscious, but it's a piece of you. Now, after a while, and in the soul sessions I do as well, I feel it. Now, you literally feel it. Do you ever feel like in your dreams sometimes there's states you enter where you can push into a fog? Or, it's like, oh, it's got substance to it. That the energy actually has like a texture, a substance. It's a little thicker, like that. We have many ways of sensating, feeling things. And then that starts occurring in this world, this reductionist, materialistic, Cartesian, shutdown, prison planet, 3D crapola that we've collectively created. That's really, people barely see colors. A client told me a while back, said, Tobias, I haven't seen trees for 20 years. His daughter had to point it out to him, said, Daddy, look at the trees. I said, after you're done ayahuasca, I hadn't seen trees, Tobias, for years. The colors, anything. So we shut down our ability to sense. Nothing to beat ourselves up about. It's just a reality, I grew up in a scientific household and so forth. So I never saw any spirits or any stuff like that. Now it's all around me. It's a soup. It's thick. If I open it up, and you're here to do certain things. It's not about, oh, look at the psychic spirits floating by. You turn into the crazy lady at the New Age bookstore with giant purple mascara and giant flowing robes, and you end up being 400 pounds because you're absorbing everyone else's crap. Now I'm using that as an example because it's so common. I'm not putting people down. We got to get real to heal. We came here to do some stuff. We didn't come here to go, I'm going to be a psychic only and just read auras all day long. You know? Ugh. How does that feel? It doesn't feel healthy. It doesn't feel grounded. It doesn't feel balanced. But so when I work with people, you can actually feel, you know this. You know this. You know this. When you meet people, you can feel the shit, the stuff. The things. How's that? Non-judgmental, with malice toward none and embracing for. You can feel the, shall we call them the things. They're good things and bad things, quote unquote, depending on your judgment and so forth. It's warm out here. There's Mr. B. Oh, you gotta get out of the sun, Mr. B. And so you can actually, like, when I kind of feel into people, now you can do it unnoticed. You can just scan. And most people are not so aware, but so they won't notice that you're doing a spiritual MRI of them. And the finer the energies goes, like into soul tendencies, just feel it. You have all these abilities. Now, the more non-judgmental you are, the more you're allowed to see. It's just part of the spiritual physics of the universe. Now, you can be a nasty-ass shaman and do it that way too, or a nasty-ass psychic, or psychic warrior, or your, flaming telepath, nasty, psychopathic psychics. This does exist. Warfare, Stanford Research Institute, Project Starlight, I think they're remote viewing and all that. Yes, you can do it. But the easier way is through love, is through non-judgment. Judge not lest you be judged. When you don't judge, then it opens up. Now, this is not that you don't see their stuff. Love the sinner, but not the sin. That stands. Jesus managed to keep some of that stuff in the Bible, even against all the editing, huh? That's pretty cool. That went on. Where's the Gospel of Philip, Thomas, Mary? Shouldn't we hear from the women too? Maybe Mother Mary had something to say. Maybe Mary Magdalene had something to say. Maybe his sister, maybe. Where did they go? Just a thought. So you can actually feel these energies in people. Now you can also, and you can gently help. When I do a soul retrieval for people, basically we're going back, usually, lately, it's all different. As soon as you think you know anything, fail. As soon as you think you know, I know how this works. Ego cometh before the giant, splat the face on the ground. Ego cometh before the fall. Pride. But lately on soul retrievals, and I do it gently, I don't do pomp and circumstance, I don't do smoke and feathers and screaming and emotional. Sometimes there'll be some feelings that'll go along with it, but generally it's like, we do it easy, because I'm into it that way. I've had enough freaking drama. That's what this thing that I just went through last couple of weeks has to do with, finally, with cleaning out some giant old warrior crap. Warrior and war and battle and shamans battling and all that. I'm done with it. That's not my main modus operandi. If I have to, we'll chop some fucking heads. But you can also let the universe do it for you. You can let the universe chop the heads for you. That's the highest teaching. You don't engage. Sai Baba taught me and a friend of that years ago. He said, the highest thing is you do not engage, you disengage from the game. You do not play that game. Vanish in the air, you'll never find me. Yeah, Sting's onto it in that song. Caught between the Scylla and Charybdis, the gates, the two, Gibraltar and North Africa. He's using the ancient Greek myths. Oh, Sting. The masses aren't going to understand that, but pretty cool. Mephistopheles is not my name. Yeah, right. But I know what you're up to just the same. Yes, engaging in the game hooks you. Ah! But if you don't play, if you do Aikido, someone pushes against you, if you don't push back, but if you do Aikido, there's no opponent. I have an article online called I Am Not Opposed. Tobias Lars. It should still be there where I talk about this. It's very much the Tao, the flow, the yin and the yang. Many of us have done lifetimes of many of these traditions. So you can actually feel the energy in people. Like I can feel that entity in that person, that subconscious tendency, that hardness, that survival mechanism. Now I don't usually point them out or poke at them, because it triggers shit. The shamans will show you in an Aya ceremony, they'll go, watch when I sing this energy into their body. And they'll poke the beast, they'll prod the monster, the thing that needs to come out, either through purging or screaming or just feeling, you know. The more you surrender in ayahuasca ceremonies and let Aya do her work, the less drama you create. You can have complete quiet ceremonies. Some people do. In fact, when I first met Mike, where we do it now, he was in a phase of being very quiet, very Buddha-esque. So there was no noise at all night long, except occasionally some purging. Now we do a lot of drumming and big drums and gongs and singing. Yeah, it just depends. Don't get stuck in a tradition. But you can feel as you push into. So when I work with people, I'll be able to feel your stuff, your makeup, your psychological makeup, but I don't have any judgment on it. I mean, you know, if you look at my lifetimes, you know, that's what's so beautiful, when you look at your own lifetimes and see what you've done. Marauder, betrayer, betraying your best friends, your business partners, slicing their throats, you know, rape, murder, kill, full-on. Feminine has a lot of betrayal. The male has tended to be more open and honest in general. Not always, of course not. You can't totally generalize. But the male principle is a little more less occult, and it doesn't hide its betrayal. It's kind of obvious and boorish and, oh, it's what I want. That's, you know, the yang. And the female has been a little bit more, oh, maybe I just simply won't mention that. We were watching Downton Abbey yesterday. You know, I can't even get hooked on any drama, no matter how good it is. I mean, that's a well-written masterpiece theater drama piece. At one point, the mistress of the house, or the lady of the house, she's pregnant. The soap falls off her. She's in the tub with her assistant maid. The soap breaks in two. The maid just gives her the big one half back and moves the other piece and leaves it very slippery right then and there. Meaning when she's going to get back out, she's going to slip on it, and she does, and she has a miscarriage. That's kind of tricky by the feminine. Just moving the soap just enough, so you can't see where it's slippery. But none of that goes unnoticed. Source records all because it's with you. You're the source. You can't hide anything from source, because you are a source. You are God. So your intention, motivation, your hoping, it's a very tricky area. This is where the cabals of the world work with free will, you know. Like the vampire has to be invited into the house. Yes. But it's a very, so super psychic, sort of the dark side, they're like legalistic lawyers. They play with, well, we told them we were going to do this. We posted the advertisement in the back of the paper. There was a notice once for the public on TV on channel 5900 that no one watches, that we were, if they wanted to participate in the lawsuit. This legalistic shit. All of that is seen. You can't get away with anything. You cannot outwit, outsmart, outplay source. because you are source. You are watching yourself at all times. The main topic I was going to talk about is actually that you can feel the entities. These are subconscious tendencies, these are samskaras, karmas, these are literal fucking giant demons that have possessed people sometimes, that are possessing many people. Others are just your own little upside down denial energies, but you can literally feel them like you're pushing against a thick area of fog, or you can just sense them. These are all normal, natural abilities. Next time you meet people, sometimes just feel. You'll feel the goodness, the innocence, the power. You'll feel the hold back, the calculating, the kind of, oh, what a tangled web we weave. When at first we practice to not just to observe, but allow them, that withholding, all that stuff. You are the super psychic. God is the super psychic. God is in you. So you can know all those things. It all makes sense. And it gets easier and easier as you progress backwards, back towards the pregnant point, as the Rig Veda calls it, towards 0 point, towards the amplituhedron, as some guys are calling it lately. We got to come up with names and new theories, otherwise what are we going to do? Have to make love to each other? Nobody wants that! More later.